Welcome to this episode of Our College Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. Today, I am excited to be joined by three students who won the Plan Ahead, Get Ahead incentive program. Students who registered for spring 2021 classes by October 9th, 2020 were automatically entered to win. There were 10 randomly drawn students who won one free class for the spring 2021 semester and one student who won one free year of tuition and fees. So let's meet three of those winners. First up is Chasta Groves. Hi, Chasta.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Can you tell us a little bit about what campus you're from and what you're studying at Ivy Tech?
Yeah, I've been at the Lawrence campus since I started at Ivy Tech, and I am a pre-nursing major.
Excellent. So you're right at the beginning of your studies, it sounds like.
Well, I'm actually applying for the program next semester, so I'm almost at the beginning of my nursing studies of this portion of Ivy Tech.
Good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. And next up is Michelle McCarty. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about what campus you're from and what you're studying?
I'm from the Evansville, Indiana campus, and I'm studying to be a medical assistant, and this is my first year.
Excellent. Very good. Welcome. And last but not least is Macy Horton. Hi, Macy.
Hi.
Macy, tell us a little bit about which campus you're from and what you're studying.
I am from the Bloomington, Indiana campus, and I am studying elementary education, and this is also my first year.
Excellent. Excellent. So we'll get into a little bit about what each of you won as we're going into the questions. So let's dive in. First of all, please share how you heard about the Plan Ahead, Get Ahead incentive, if you did.
I heard about it on the Canvas app. I had logged in to check any notifications from my teachers, and I noticed at the top of the website after I had logged in that there was this bulletin, and it was explaining that if you had registered for your classes early, then you would be entered into this giveaway. So that's where I first heard of it from.
Excellent. Macy or Michelle?
I actually heard from it from a teacher, one of my instructors, and then they said that we were going to register early in our next meeting. So one of my instructors was the one that actually told us about it.
Good. And then she did in-class registration with you, Macy, in that next class?
Correct. Yes.
Awesome. Very good. And Michelle?
Yes, I had seen about it in the weekly announcements through my email about the Plan Ahead, Get Ahead.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. Sounds like you are all well-informed students, which is wonderful. Obviously, you all heard about it. And I guess one of the questions I would love to know is, did that change your behavior at all? Like when you saw that, did that make you go, oh, I want to register earlier?
I had already personally seen the date, and I knew that day, no matter what, I was going to register. As soon as I could, I was going to register. So I really didn't think much about possibly even winning a contest because I was going to plan for my success and do it on the first day.
Good.
That's how I was too. I was not planning on winning this contest at all. I was just, registering because my instructor said that we were going to register. Good. And I just got lucky.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I also worked with my academic advisor, and we had come up with a plan to put in what classes I wanted to take for the spring 2 weeks prior to the date that they became accessible for us to register for. I believe it was September 14th that we were allowed to start registering.
That is exactly right.
And that morning, literally 12 a.m., I submitted it. And I think that the incentive did push me to want to do it as soon as it was ready to go, because usually I would just wait until the next day and then register for my courses. So it was a little bit of both.
Now, you all saw something about the incentive program, but did you hear other students talking about it, or do you have suggestions on how other ways we could communicate programs like this or the benefits of registering earlier to other students?
I think a great way that you guys could get this message out for any incentive that you may do in the future would be the text message notifications.
Okay.
I get text message notifications from Ivy Tech pretty regularly, and it could be just about anything. It could be events happening on campus or registering for classes and things like that. And I think that that would probably be the key way to reach so many more people, because I know a lot of students who don't check their emails very regularly, and some students who, life happens and you don't get to check your Canvas app very often. And some students I also know that even turn off their notifications from Canvas. So I think that the text message could possibly reach more students.
Very good. That's good to hear, because we think that too. So it makes me feel good that you think we're on the right track.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that one too. I more likely check my text messages than my emails. I'm the person that has like 50 unread emails, but then I immediately go check my phone when I get a text message.
Right. So you all were 3 of the lucky ones who heard that you won. What did you think when you found out you won?
Well, I actually, surprisingly, opened my email and I saw it and then I read it twice. I'm like, this has to be a prank. Like there's no way. Like I never win anything. And then I went over to my parents and I had them read it. And my dad was like freaking out. Like this has to be a prank too. But then like I got another email and it was true.
That's awesome.
I also received an email, and I remember I was sitting in my living room with my sister and we were talking about a completely different topic. And I check my email from Ivy Tech pretty often. I logged in as we were talking just to see, because I hadn't checked it that morning, and I had received an email telling me that I was one of the winners. And I remember I just like stood up and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was so excited. And I thought it was awesome that, just registering for my classes early, that gave me such an awesome reward that I can benefit from.
Good. Michelle?
I also received an email saying that I had won, and I was just feeling so blessed and grateful. And it felt like reassurance that I was going down the right path and everything.
Good. And I should add, Chasta and Michelle, you both won 1 free class. And then Macy, you won free tuition for the spring. When it sounds like, as you all were talking at the beginning, that you tend to register earlier. We know what we think the benefits are of registering earlier as faculty and staff, but I'd love to know why are you as students registered to motivate earlier? What would you tell your fellow students about why they should register earlier?
It's definitely less stress because you don't have to worry about like what happens if I don't register on time and everything like that.
Okay.
I've been on both ends of these options. They're in the beginning of my first couple of semesters at Ivy Tech, I would be like the last minute person to register. And that set me up for failure completely because my classes were all over the place. I wasn't able to line up my classes on what times they fall to where they're on the same days of the week right after each other. I was basically just picking what was left from the classes that were still open. Compared to how it is now, I tend to plan as early as possible so that I can maximize my opportunity to be successful, so that I can pick what days and what times work best for my schedule. And I can even pick the teachers that I may have already had that I've had good experiences with, or that other students that I am friends with that have had good experiences with, so that I can allow myself a better opportunity to be successful.
I was going to say it's important to enroll early because we hold the key to our success. And I've learned a lot from my health science student success. That helped me a lot with knowing that I do need to be structured and planning and having a calendar and all that. And I learned a term, play out the tape. You know, you got to play out the tape to see what happens. If you wait too long and you don't get in that class, then that's going to slow your progress. That's going to have emotional distress. So when you can prevent that, why would you allow that to happen?
Excellent. Those are all outstanding answers. I hope your fellow students hear this. I might have to figure out ways to text a link to them. Maybe I'll take your texting idea and text a link to them to this episode. We're always looking at ways to incentivize students. Obviously tuition is a great one. What are other things that incentivize students to act earlier and to do the things that motivate their success? If they're, maybe they just don't understand that yet and they need to build that behavior. Chasta, it sounds like you learned that lesson, and Michelle and Macy and Chasta, all three of you also, you are very committed to your success. I can hear that from you. So as other students are building that, how can we incentivize that for them? What are some tips you have for us?
Possibly another option could possibly be to give them an incentive with their textbooks. Ooh. So I know that the bookstore allows Barnes & Noble gift cards to pay for our textbooks. So perhaps Barnes & Noble gift card to help us cover the fees for our textbooks, because I'm not sure about you ladies, but personally, I have about $700 worth of textbooks for spring. So it would be awesome to have an incentive to help me cover my textbook fees.
Great idea.
This isn't really along the lines of really necessary, but everyone likes some free merchandise, So a free t-shirt or anything in the bookstore, a bookstore gift card.
Okay. Great idea.
I agree. The idea of the help with books and the gift cards is a great idea. I personally think that Ivy Tech does great in all the announcements and all the social activities, even virtually right now. I participated in a lot and received prizes and also educated myself and furthered myself. And I'm grateful for all those that they do. It really helps, especially during a pandemic when we're closed off and alone, that we can still be a part of Ivy life.
Well, I am just so excited for all three of you and for all of our winners. And I'm just excited that you are taking that step to success and registering earlier. So I hope you'll continue doing that all the way through your academic career here at Ivy Tech. So to everybody listening to the podcast today, you know that we end every episode with a call to action. So take a minute to find out the winners. I'll put a link in the show notes to a list of all the winners, and make sure if they're on your campus that you congratulate them. And then you heard from our students today how important it was that advisors and faculty talked about this initiative. So thanks to everybody who did that. And as we announce new things like this, please make sure that you help our students become aware of those. So thanks again for joining this episode of Our College, Your Voices. I want to thank today's panels and our award winners, Chasta Gross from the Indianapolis campus, Michelle McCarty from our Evansville campus, and Macy Horton from our Bloomington campus. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNM Tweets. Our producer for this episode was Corey Klossman and Sarah Ferguson. They shared producer responsibilities. You can reach the show by email at ourcollegeyourvoices@ivytech.edu. Don't forget, you can also leave us a voicemail at 317-572-5049. And our website is ivytech.edu/podcast. Production assistance for this and every episode are provided by Becky Campbell, Sarah Ferguson, and the Ivy Tech Community College marketing team. And our podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music and post-production services provided by the amazing Jen Eads at the Brassy Broadcasting Company. We will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.